There are about 2 weeks left in school for my kid. I don't know if you have school aged kids and what they're doing with the summer, but mine is going to a day camp for the first time. I have mixed emotions about the whole thing, but one thing that it did is it prompted me. It is time to get swim lessons. Now, let's be clear, she's very comfortable in water and she loves water and she loves her floaties and she loves a pool noodle. She loves these tools that help her stay afloat. But the tool that I want her to know the most, of course, is how to swim. And she's very ambivalent about the whole thing. And in the Talmud, actually in Kiddushin 29a, so this is a tractate of Talmud, it tells us that one of the things that we're obligated to do is to teach our children how to swim. And somewhere in the recesses of my brain, the reasoning for that has to do with the Egyptian army at the parting of the Red Sea. Remember, the Israelites go through, the sea comes back together, and the Egyptians, the army perishes behind them. And somewhere the reasoning in my head said, if we were ever in that situation again, we need to be able to swim lest the sea close around us. And there is some really updated parenting ideology that comes around that. So one comes from Wendy Mogul, author of The Blessing of a Skinned Knee, which is using Jewish teachings to raise self-reliant children. And one of the things that she teaches is that hold on, I have it right here. There we go. Is that we need to teach our children to swim really means that we have to pass on tools of survival, that kids need to be able to learn to fend for themselves, which is hard, right? We want to protect them. We want to be their pool noodle and their floaty if that's what they need in life. And in order for our children to be able to thrive in the world, we have to be able to let them go, to teach them to swim. Dan Friedman on Kveller.com, which is one of my favorite websites, says that we understand that teaching our kids to swim is vitally important, and because it's beyond that, that these are the stakes of live or die, specifically when it comes to water, but also that when it comes to life, if we don't teach our children to be self-reliant, if we don't give them the tools to thrive, then they will not be able to swim in the current of life. Now, what's interesting, in this same passage of Talmud, there are a bunch of commandments, and some we need to alter just a little bit for the context of current life, but here's what it says. We learn in the Mishnah that which the sages taught in a Baraita, which is a contemporaneous text to the Mishnah. A father is obligated with regard to his son. So we can say a parent, a guardian, a grown-up is obligated with regard to their kids. Now, this one is very specific, to circumcise him, which means essentially to bring him into the covenant, to redeem him. This has to do with the firstborn being traditionally obligated to the priesthood, which again is a conversation for another time. To teach him Torah, which yes is very specific to teach him Judaism, but also to teach our children how to think and to process and all of that. To marry them, right? To teach them love and commitment and partnership, and to teach them a trade. This I love because it actually goes on. So after that it says we're also obligated to teach them to swim. But Rabbi Yehuda says any grown-up who doesn't teach their kid a trade teaches them banditry. Banditry? What are you saying? And it goes on to say that if you don't teach them a profession or how to make their way in the world, that they're going to have to rely on other ways of making their way. And so this idea of banditry is really, you have to teach them to be self-sufficient. And again, for so many of us, either because the world is scary or because our own childhoods were hard, we want to protect our children. We want to put them in a bubble. We want to set them up. We want to give them all the advantages. if we don't let them face the small adversities, how will they deal with the large adversities? We have to teach them to swim. And so this summer, I invite everyone who's a parent, a grandparent, a guardian, someone who has an opportunity to spend time with children. Let them figure some things out for themselves. Give them the tools and step back and watch them swim.